Scat Radio online. So we're going to try and start like this fall doing some live shows and then still put them up as a podcast as well.
I think that's kind of the future. I mean, I think Leo Laporte is showing that he's having great success. He said as soon as he's been streaming his shows for like a year and a half or something, and he's just started releasing video of those streams because he just has video cameras in the studio and just kind of flips between who's in the studio and shows them. He said his audience, his numbers jumped 20% as soon as he released the video version of his podcast.
And it's just them in front of the camera, right?
It's just them. It's no editing. It's no like, let's
in
roll
front of
footage of it. It's just them sitting in the studio. 20%.
Wow.
But he still gets his bandwidth dedicated, though. I mean, that's a
well, he has like cash flying AOL.
But still, you know, I mean, libsyn doesn't matter how many bits you put. It's just your hard drive space. So that's 20% is. I want that 20%.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too.
How do you has your audience been growing?
It has. I mean, we try to follow that you know the growth, but we're getting just a couple percent every few months that it increases, and that's good for now. Because I took over the middle of last summer after the faculty member who was running it passed away suddenly, and so I've been just kind of like trying to pick up the pieces and then form new groups and everything. And since it's student run, we get a few that graduate or just get overwhelmed and they can't handle it anymore, and so then I have to scramble to find some new podcast people and go from there.
Have we started yet?
Yeah, we're just rolling. Yeah.
Okay, one show, we're just chatting.
Yeah, that's what this was supposed to be, right?
I think it's going to be pretty informal, basically.
Welcome everybody to the podcast Quorum. We should probably go around and introduce ourselves. Some of you don't know who we are.
I can actually get up and come to you and introduce
We're trying to fool the listening audience to think that there's thousands here. So
Okay.
we're going to add in sound effects. I'm Jimmy Aquino with Comic News Insider.
Chuck Moore, comic related.
Bill Jordan, Golden Age of Comic Books.
Brian Deemer, Comic Geek Speak.
Mr. Phil Jackson from Indie Spinner Rack.
John Larison from Sequel Lab.
So this was Peter Rios' a Comic Geek Speaks idea to do it. He pulled off last minute.
Thanks, Peter.
For whatever reason, it's fine. But so we don't know what we're doing. What we're talking about. How many podcasts are out there now? Like a lot of the radio stations are now releasing. I listen to a ton of BBC radio podcasts. It's just radio, podcast version of the radio shows, and they're great. It's great because you can't listen. I mean, you could listen to it live online, but a lot of times you're not, up at that time or whatever. But I know so many people that at first I knew some podcast didn't happen. They were like, "What's that? What's an internet radio show?" Was the easiest way to describe it. And people still were like, "I don't understand that," But now I think it's pretty mainstream, and people, everyday people, they listen to it.
I find like our students and then just students from other campuses that I run into at conventions, they listen to like our podcast and a lot of you guys' podcasts as well, just while they're working because you're talking about the medium and it inspires them to draw more, like listening to the interviews from different artists, listening to the updated news and everything. And then you've got a lot of isolated artists who, like, there is one guy who came up to me yesterday and he's like, it's you guys are like my geek college friends without me having them around me. So while I'm drawing and working on my comics, I've got you there, right there, and
I've been told by artist friends of ours are just people who well, we played in the background while we're drawing.
Exactly. You get me through the night.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean that in a non.
Yeah.
I wish it was in a totally different way, but
Let me ask you all this. The podcasts that I do are in a way timeless because I go back and I talk about characters and old comics and that kind of thing. You guys are more into the news, the current issues, interviewing current creators and that kind of thing. Do you see a lot of people going back and listening to your older podcasts over and over again? I mean, I see that with mine probably more than I expected. But I'm just curious about how y'all experience that.
Yeah, I think for us, pretty much every episode we've ever done gets downloaded at least one time a day. Like that's maybe not some of the ones maybe 10 times a month or something.
Certain interviews probably get more than that.
Oh yeah, and then others will be more than once a day. Right. So it just, I think because by nature, comic people are collectors, they start listening, and even if we're talking about something that was very of the moment in 2006, they're like, I gotta listen to Be a Completist. I have to listen to all of them. It's like, wow, well, go for it, man.
I'm sure
That's
you guys
great.
get emails like I've been going through your catalog and I just got up to episode whatever, one something about this, and that was great. I'm like, oh, that's old news. It's still kind of nice that they're going back and listening.
Plus, we started when we wanted to dump, like we get a busy week or something. We've done a couple of like classic episodes where we've taken interviews that we really liked, and we've gotten a lot of feedback off that. People seem to like that, so and it pulls them back into looking at some of the old stuff. And actually, when we did that a couple times, we started noticing some of our older numbers pop back up. So yeah, it's working.
I've always been surprised to see what shows get downloaded the most from us, because Charlie and I often fight back and forth about like how we should do it. I like to do more interviews with guests. He likes to just kind of sit around and shoot the shit with me. And believe it or not, some of our most downloaded shows are like some of the most where we have like no topic. We're just sitting around talking about like some of our mail issues where we just do our mail.
Those are the
some
ones
of our
I
most
like the most.
Some of our most downloaded.
Yeah,
Those
they're
are the
awesome.
ones that I listen to the most from other comic book podcasts. The ones that they're just like talking around
That
the
always
table.
surprises me. And like we're always talking about like, what kind of guests to get, things like that. And you'd think some of our bigger guests have been like the most downloaded, but our most downloaded show like ever still continues to be Liz Prince, who does like a pretty fairly crudely drawn. I'm sure she'd admit it. Cute comic about her and her boyfriend, and that was from our first year, and that's still like sometimes that's like our biggest show of the month, like still to this day. Wow. I don't know why, unless she has a huge family. I don't know.
I think one thing that, as a listener, you guys, every one of you, you're new, but sorry, I'm not exposed. But it's driven also by personality. Personality brings me to the table with the podcast even more than a guest sometimes. As I get to know you guys, or through the audio before I even met you guys, it was, Charlie and Mr. Phil. I wanted to hear what was going on with them as much as I wanted to hear the guests they had that week, so I can understand the mail. As a listener, I can understand the mail shows completely.
That's curious, because we would, when we first started, we would like start the show right away. Because we would like, hey, welcome, competence, let's get right to reviews.
Yeah.
And then we kind of started bantering a bit for 5, 10, 15 minutes before that, since it's too long. And people seem to really respond to that, like, oh, that was interesting about what you did that week, or this and that, And I was like, oh, okay.
I just had somebody this weekend tell me that they've been going back and listening to old episodes, even like previews episodes from 2006, which obviously don't matter anymore because there's those 5 or 10 minutes in there that we talk about our lives and each other, and that's interesting to them.
Yeah, and that's what I have. All the students like on both the podcasts. I make certain that they spend like about, like I said, 5, 10, sometimes too long, about like what's going on in your life this week. What major projects are you working on? What are you stressing out about, or just whatever.
It's also nice just to listen to them, because I don't get to see these guys all the time. I get to listen to my friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's great, especially my friends in England that do Syndicate, Comic Racks, and everything comes back to all those over there. I'm like, because I know this guy. I'm just hanging out with my friends, listening to them talk. And it's kind of fun. Catch up.
Yeah.
And I can't read everything. It's great. It's great. Between all of us, we do. So I listen to shows like Radio Lab. Man, you talk about raising the bar for what can be done with podcasting. That thing just.
I'm not familiar with the show. What is it?
It's kind of like This American Life from a science perspective.